Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here, and hope you're having a fantastic day. Now it is time to talk about the new Sideshow pre-order, one that has caused and is causing a lot of controversy on different platforms, whether it's on the forums but also on Facebook groups. And today I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the piece. I want to try to be objective with it, and also really point out some things that I feel that are not as good from the community that we're part of. The price for this is $850, which is higher than the previous Maquette that was like $799. And I remember when it came out, a lot of people were unsatisfied with the price then. But I think this is sort of fair based on the times we live in, because right now everything is going up in crazy prices. So it's amazing what companies are putting out there and the prices they're asking for them. We don't have an edition size yet. This is going to release or going to ship according to the website between June and August of next year. You can choose the payment plan that Sideshow offers. Now, on the artists involved here, we have the Kucharek brothers, who I love. I love their work. I've been following them since the Bowen days. They're the sculptors and the designers. And Casey Love is the painter. And of course, we have the Sideshow design and development team involved in the whole process. All right, now we're looking at the pictures. This is the first picture that they showcase, and I wasn't impressed, I gotta be honest. First, I wasn't impressed because of the power that is emanating from his hands, this type of resin they use. It is not the first time the Kucharek brothers have done something like this. They did that with Bowen Bishop, which in my opinion is a phenomenal piece. One is my favorite piece that they have produced for Bowen. But I do like that the depiction feels more comic accurate than the previous version. Yes, it's still not 100%. It's not the classic depiction done by Jack Kirby, or even my favorite, which was John Byrne. But I do feel that it is really close, and they trying to. This is another pose, a normal pose for him. So it's not something very different. Some people are pointing out that the pose is bad. I don't think so. I think it's just different. It's not what you were expecting, or maybe you want in your mind, but it is something also that really represents the character. He's a being of power, and he's showcasing that power. I feel that Sideshow doesn't really do this type of clear resins well. They've been trying though, but I feel the same thing that happened with Wanda just recently, the Scarlet Witch, but it's not as good, and I wish they were interchangeable. Like some people were mentioning, and I agree, if this were removable, that you can remove the hands. If you don't want to have them there, you can have them without it. I think that that's something that they could have done well. Now, this is the problem people are having with this piece here. As you can see, the height is 26 inches tall. The original Galactus, the height was around 31 to 32 inches, if I'm not mistaken. If you go to the Marvel Encyclopedia just to find out the proper size or the actual height of Galactus, you're looking at 29 feet tall. So we can round it up to 30 feet tall. So when you do the math and the comparison, the original Sideshow Galactus technically is a 1/10 of a scale. So if this is 26, you know, you have to take, of course, the base out. It's 25 inches, only the Galactus. So you technically are looking at a 1/15 or a 1/12 scale. So it is really small. The question is this, and that's the reason why a lot of people are having a problem with it, you know, throwing a fit about it, is the fact that, you know, there's no real proper scale for this, at least from Sideshow products. So ultimately, this is going to display better. If you are more concerned about having proper displays and scales and all of that, this is going to be good for a 1/10 scale, like Iron Studios, for example. I think they are going to match so well with this display. You can even go with Bowen, although Galactus is going to look a bit small in comparison, because a lot of people, what they did with the previous Galactus, they purchased it so they could display it with their Bowen or Kotobukiya pieces on the 1/6 scale. So this is even, you can display it with a 1/6. I'm not saying that you cannot. Still, it's going to be a bit smaller, but in the end, also another great factor is that it's not going to be as difficult to display because it's not as tall. And yeah, you can display it with 1/4 pieces, but it's going to be pretty much on the same height, and perhaps that's what they were trying to achieve. Who knows? And I know that it doesn't really resolve the matter for a lot of people, but ultimately I feel that it's just a matter of choice. Do you have the space for something bigger? Because some people are even crying out saying, well, why is it that we didn't get something like a 1/4? Like, you for real? A 1/4 scale of the true Galactus scale, you're looking at 7.5 feet tall. You don't have the space for the 7.5. So that's the reason why the previous one was a 1/10. However, when we look at the statue, it is good. I love the depiction. I think it is really, really good. I love some of the designs here. Throwback really to Jack Kirby's designs. I like that. And I feel that in that end, the sculpt that they did here, the Kucharek brothers did a good job. They are really good. I love the Kucharek brothers. I've been following, again, since the Bowen days. I love the Trinity that they did there with Cable, with Bishop, with Deadpool. You know, they are amazing looking pieces. Another thing that a lot of people are pointing out, and I do agree with that, is that the paint job is good. I like the paint job overall. It's not bad. But the eyes, they painted the eyes blue. Some people were asking for a light up feature, which in my opinion, it doesn't need it. But it didn't need to have this color the way they did it. I wouldn't say that it's bad. But in some ways, I understand when people are saying that it looks cheap. And in some ways, it does. And, you know, let's keep in mind, and we have to be very mindful of this. In this case, the artists, they follow a process. The design they do has to be approved. And sometimes they have to make different changes. And those have to go through the licensor, which in this case is Marvel. So Marvel has to approve something. And sometimes they have to go back to the drawing board and change some things based on what they want. And this is what gets to me, is that people are saying that Sideshow dropped the ball, that Sideshow did bad, that Sideshow doesn't care about collectors. They're not forcing you to buy. You don't have to buy it. Yes, there are things that you don't like. There are things that I don't like. Again, I don't like this. I don't like the power emanating from his hands. Some of the spray, the blue that was used here, I feel that it lacks some shading perhaps. There are a couple of things here that they overspray. I feel that the paint job is not as good as I want it to be. The base, the destruction of these buildings, kind of interesting the way they did it. And it does lack detail. I feel, and of course, this is a world that he already consumed and is completely destroyed. But I feel that there's a couple of things here that can be done to improve the whole thing. Overall, I feel that the first Galactus, designed by David Igo, I do feel that that piece really captured the essence of Galactus in a much better way than this one. Not saying that this is bad. I know a lot of people are happy with this one because that one is hard to come by in the aftermarket, and you know, people are asking for a lot of money for it. And now with this one, a lot of people are going to ask even for more money because, of course, it seems that a lot of the response for this hasn't been as good or as favorable, you know, as other pieces. But in my opinion, I feel that ultimately this can serve the purpose for those. I would say, again, if you're a 1/10 scale collector, I think this is good. And people say, well, that's too much money even for a 1/10. Yeah, it is a big piece. Keep that in mind. You know, there are pieces that even Iron Series is producing that are really expensive. So yeah, if you are trying to build, and believe me, they will have some Fantastic Four pieces soon. And now they're building some of the Avengers stuff. So you can display this with 1/10 scale easily. Yes, you can display this with Bowen or Kotobukiya. It's not as big as the previous one, and I feel that the original will do better with that one. Yes, you can still display it with 1/4 scale, but of course you have to keep in mind that now Galactus is a smaller guy in comparison, but still it's going to tower them. It still is bigger than most 1/4 scale pieces. But yeah, there are a lot of things there that I feel that they're disappointing in some ways. Hopefully they can fix, you know, give you detachable hands so you can take that power away from his hands. Maybe some work on the eye, some work in the paint, some work on the base. You know, although let's keep in mind, let's keep things real. Sideshow normally doesn't really make changes on the pieces, but nowadays companies are doing that left and right. So I feel that Sideshow, if you want to keep up with everyone else, then you're gonna have to make changes, adjustments. Again, I love the work of the Kucharek brothers. They are great artists. They're good friends as well, and I really, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because ultimately, I feel that in the end, the work matters, and I do think that it's important to respect the work of the artist. And I want to now, as a pretty much as a final note, I want to say this to everyone that is talking about this piece, that I have read the comments on social media, which is amazing to me, that people don't have the respect for artists anymore. I feel like a lot of people don't care about the artists, they only care about themselves, which is an entitled way to see the world. You know, I respect the work of these artists. I love the work they do. And I'm grateful and thankful because over the years, they have given me so much joy with their work, with the pieces they have produced. So I have great respect, and I don't put down their work. In these videos, I try to be critical. I try to analyze the information that is given, and I try to be honest and forthcoming. But in the end, my job is not here to put down the work of other people. That's just trolling, and I'm not a troll, and I don't like to be. And I definitely don't like when other collectors or so-called collectors, because nowadays everyone calls themselves collectors, but if you're not really into art, then you're not really collecting anything. You know, you're just buying stuff because, you know, you have nothing better to do or you have too much money in your hands. But a true collector, and this from this, you know, high-end collectibles, is a person that really appreciates the art and really loves the art and is critical of the art, but he does it in a nice way, in a respectful way. So that's just my 2 cents. I just want to share that. So if you want to share, you know, I'm okay. You know, I believe in freedom of speech, but at the same time, I believe that you have to be mindful on the way you say things. Because ultimately, we are talking about people. This is a business of people. People work in these things. And it is, for them, is, you know, it can be sometimes difficult. You know, they have to deal with the criticism in a way that is not constructive. It is not helping. It's not making things better. It just makes things worse. And sometimes make these artists to kind of stay away from communicating with the fans. And if you don't talk to them, you don't talk to us, they don't talk to us, then there's no way that we know, they know exactly what we want, and they cannot make those changes. So whatever you want, you know, if you want more bees, then you need to get more honey. So that's the way it is. My friends, what is your opinion? What do you think about it? Do you like it? You don't like it? Let me know in the comments below. Again, do it respectfully. So my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so you're reminded of the next video. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The links are down below. And please consider supporting the channel through Patreon. My friends, take care. I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.